Thank you so much, thank you. Thank you so much, thank you. Thank you very much. Hello everyone at Luke Ryan's. For the first time on YouTube, you're about to hear the real, honest, no BS, no lies, honest review of the Norton Commando 961 SP. Burn. That's bad.
It's showtime.
Hello everyone, Luke Ryan. So this is the Norton Commando 961. Luke Ryan is going to tell you the truth and tell you everything you need to know and show you how much the YouTubers are lying about this bike, talking absolute BS. So first of all, the side stand is really far away, so you can see Luke Ryan is really having to stretch his leg out to try and get to the side stand. The side stand is also short, so the way to put it is you want to leave the Norton in gear when you park it up and walk away, just so the Norton doesn't fall over.
Oh my god.
Because the side stand is so short. It's something you also do with Kawasaki's, you leave them in gear to help the side stand. So it's kind of weird to have a bit of a Kawasaki thing going on here on a Norton. Visibility is easy, naked bike, so there's not much to it and you can move around quite comfortably in the seat. The seat is pretty comfortable. Getting into neutral was actually pretty easy. And now we are about to pull away. So the clutch bites pretty quickly, and the clutch is smooth, which is nice. Low speed maneuvers. This Norton is nothing like a BMW, Kawasaki or Ducati. So whereas a Kawasaki, BMW and Ducati equivalent would want to play with you, it would feel free, she would want to manoeuvre quite quickly at low speed and the steering feels really light and nice. No, not in this Norton. This Norton at low speed, the steering feels heavy, it feels stiff, whereas you put very little effort into manoeuvring at low speed, this Norton takes more effort and doesn't move around very smoothly, which is weird. You get chrome mirrors, which is a hark back to the past. You get decent visibility as well. The clocks are analog, so it's a hark back to the past. And here's the thing that other YouTubers are not talking about. The numbers, everything looks fine from the camera's perspective. When you're riding this Norton, the numbers are actually quite small. And it actually takes a little longer to read them compared to, say, Z900RS, which is really weird. Analog, so don't expect much information. You get your rev counter and your speedo. You do get an LCD screen, but that's really just for your total mileage and your trip meter. Controls are pretty simple as well, so all you have is a hazard, kill switch, dipped main beam, indicators and horn, but they ensure that the controls are not well spaced out. No matter what YouTubers tell you, they're full of absolute BS, they're full of shit. So Luke White hit that horn because he was expecting that's where the indicator would be, and it wasn't. So the it's not natural like a Kawasaki or Ducati or BMW, which is really weird. So controls are not very well spaced out. No keyless start. You get a typical key. The engine is 76.8 horsepower, and it is an old design. It feels like an old design. It feels like something from the 80s and 90s. The engine, there's no torque, there's no power. That's right, all you YouTubers are full of lies. When Luke Wright was riding this, there was no power, there was no torque. Literally, Luke Wright was having to wind the throttle on for a while there to get that engine to go. You could say, "Ew, you're changing gear." Shut up. That was literally the characteristic of the engine. It didn't want to go. It didn't feel sporty. The engine is slow revving. It's a slow engine. So, and it's weird because it's air cooled. So there's no radiator, there's no fans. So the engine's quite lightweight. At low speed, the weight isn't too heavy, but it's not too light. You feel the weight of the Norton, but it's not too much. You feel fairly comfortable with the weight. And being a naked bike in the straight handlebars, you feel fairly stable. You don't feel like you're going to drop the Norton, which is good. But the engine, it's computer controlled and fuel injected. And Norton have worked out all the tweaks and problems of this engine, so they've got it really good. Luke Wright is opening the throttle, and there's no power and torque. All YouTubers are full of lies. There's no power. Luke Wright is literally putting his hand up because there's no power. There's no torque. He's not gaining on that motorcycle in front of him, and that's a 390cc engine. And somehow a Norton, that's a twin cylinder with more cc, isn't gaining on that motorcycle. So all you people that say on YouTube this has got a good amount of power, you are just talking lies. Which is really sad. It's a modern engine in that Norton are using modern materials and modern valves and all that sort of stuff, and yet it doesn't feel powerful. The Norton is behaving quite nicely at the moment, but that's because he's holding the throttle. The throttle on that engine is very much on and off. You can say it's a big parallel twin. Not so sure about that because there have been other big parallel twins that have been smoother than this, so you can shut up. The brakes are Brembo's front and rear, so you got loads of stopping power, loads of braking power. You got good feel from the Brembos, which you should have because they're the best Brembos. They're the stuff of super bikes. So instant feel, loads of braking power. Yeah, you're gonna stop. The gearbox is slick, it's smooth, its gear changes are quite nice up and down, but it is a 5-speed, not a 6-speed, which is a shame. And the suspension, so you got Öhlins front and rear, that's really expensive suspension. That's high performance, and it doesn't aid the sportiness of the Norton. Like, it adds no sportiness whatsoever. The Öhlins is doing a really good job of dampening the road, but it doesn't encourage you to want to play and go into the corners and go fast. It doesn't. So Norton have gone out on really expensive suspension, and all you get is a really smooth ride, but it doesn't actually add to the Norton wanting to go faster or have more fun in the corners, which is just terrible. The grips feel fine, they feel like your typical grips, and that's a shame. The suspension does not want to play, and that's just terrible. The vibration dampening is actually pretty good. You don't feel any vibrations. You feel the characteristic of the engine, but the vibrations are really well dampened, so you get very few vibrations from the Norton. So kudos to Norton for doing that. Well done on the vibration dampening. Insurance. Okay, so this is crazy. So tax is £119 at the moment in Britain, way too expensive. Insurance, £700. No, that is too much. You're going to get looks on this because it is Norton's take on the hark back to the classic bike. So you have a very typical round and tapered off fuel tank, and also Norton have sculpted the back end, as you can see there. Also Norton are using pinstriping, so Norton have actually paid for a skilled technician to pinstripe the Norton, and that's actually really cool, because where do you see pinstriping on a modern motorcycle now? You rarely ever see it. You really do. So, and to do that is quite a skill, so kudos to Norton there. Lucas opening the throttle, there's no power, there's no torque, he's literally having to take his time with the overtake, whereas on a Kawasaki, BMW, Ducati he would have overtaken way faster and much quicker and much smoother, because the engine's just there's no power, there's no torque, which is just stupid. When you think that's 961 cc's, what? But it's the truth. This Norton is £17,000 new. No, you could buy a Z900 RS SE, you could buy a BMW R9T, you could buy a Ducati Scrambler for that. Hell, you could buy a Monster 1200R Super Naked for that, and you'd be getting a motorcycle that outguns, outperforms, does over, is better than a Norton in every single way, outguns a Norton in every way, for less. So how this is £17,000? No, you could buy a Kawasaki Z900, R9T or Ducati Scrambler for less. You would have more motorcycle. So pricing is absolutely crazy. You can all say this is a Norton frame and Norton are amazing with their frames and they're special with their frames. No. A Z900 RS would run rings around this Norton. Honestly, the Japanese, Germans, Italians would run rings around it. The frame does not encourage you to be sporty. It is slow. It is not fast in the corners. What happened there, Norton? What happened there? Halogen light, standard indicators, so no LED. At night the headlight should be pretty good, but it's not LED, so it will do what a halogen light does. Will you get noticed on this? Yes, because it's got the beautiful classic hark back to the naked bike, and the way that Norton have sculpted the back end as well. So on all angles, it's a good looking naked bike from the past. So you will look good on this. You will get people's attention, and it will look really nice, and you will smile when you look at it when you're about to go out for a ride. And you got those twin outlets. So the exhaust, so you can all say this Norton makes a really nice noise, better than the equivalent Kawasaki, BMW, Ducati. You are absolutely full of crap. The only reason why that Norton is able to make these really nice noises is because it's not Euro 6 compliant. You only can buy a Norton if you're in Britain. You can't buy it if you're outside of Britain. So this Norton is able to get away with a lot more, and is able to have a more free-flowing, wider exhaust with larger tips, with bigger diameter, and it feels like the cats are like sport cats, because you get that grrr, and you can hear it when you're passing by. And when Norton's passing by you, I know it's at a standstill, but also it makes those grrr, and there's because the exhaust is able to get away with a lot more. his E900RS on R19 Racer Ducati has to meet Euro 6, so yeah, it would be a lot quieter, and you can say, they don't sound as good as an Norton Commando. Give the Z900RS a full system, or give the R9T a full system, or give the Ducati a full system. Not only do they sound better than this Norton, they sound more growly, and they sound better than this Norton in every single way. So, you can shut up. Norton are able to get away with this exhaust system. That's how it's able to sound good. Luke Rice is not having fun. He's not enjoying himself because this Norton doesn't feel exciting. It feels slow. It feels boring. It's just, you're like sitting on a naked bike making some nice noises and that's it. Yeah. Pretty crap, isn't it? Checking your blind spot in your mirrors is pretty easy because again this is a naked bike. It's pretty smooth at this moment in time, but then that's when you're holding the throttle steady. But once you let go of the throttle and you stop traffic, your throttle on and off, it is a bit on and off. It's a bit snatchy. Also filtering. You'll be able to filter fine on this Norton, but it will not be the smoothest filtering because of the way the throttle is, which is weird. Reliability should be pretty good. The wiring loom was well insulated, but remember this is a naked bike, so don't be riding this in winter because what's going to happen is the Norton, everything that can corrode will corrode, and also the way that the aluminium's exposed as well on the engine. So this will get a corrosion really quickly if you expose it to road salt. So don't do that. And at 30, boring. Throttle is on and off. Yeah, vibrations are well dampened, but the steering is slow, doesn't want to lean over, doesn't feel good, doesn't want to go sporty, and that's rubbish. You've got really powerful Brembos, Olin suspension. Don't understand when people talk about the Norton frame because it feels like slow. A Kawasaki, BMW or Ducati would run rings around this Norton in every aspect. Chassis is too. Kawasaki built a better chassis. So this is very much a motorcycle from the past, but modern, and Luke Rice can see the interest in it because it is a little bit different to a Kawasaki. It's a little bit different to a BMW. It's a little bit different to a Ducati, but you always know a Kawasaki, BMW, Ducati, even the XSR 900 outguns this Norton in every single way and will run rings around it, which is a shame. Low speed maneuvering, pretty comfortable. You feel the weight, but it's not too heavy, and it's the naked bike, so you feel like you've got plenty of control. Funny enough, getting to the side stand is easier than putting the side stand up. Don't ask me quite why. It's just a thing with this Norton, which is really weird. And there you go. To give you a bit of a walk around. You do get twin pipes at the back, and it has that small manufacturer artisan sort of rear. I believe that's actually LED, but you can see the indicators are standard. They're not LED at all. The headlight is not LED, headlight standard.
and Norton comes with the pinstriping of the past, and that's quite a skill nowadays because that's pretty rare to see.
He's right. Do you know that?
And it's that back in time 80s or the 70s look and styling, and chrome here, and you don't get much. You get the time, speedo and rev counter, and you get dip beam, main beam, indicators, a horn, and that's your starter there, and your hazards or kill switch. That might be the kill switch actually. Yeah, it might be the kill switch, or it might be the hazards. It's difficult to say. Probably the kill switch. And then you've got this little dot here, probably to change the LCD to how many miles you've done, and to reset the miles. But yeah, that's Norton Commando, 5-speed gearbox. Love the gold forks. Gold forks look really good, they look quite pretty. And the same with the rear shocks as well, which are bolted directly to the frame and to the swing arm. And gold and Olin, so very nice. So the Norton Commando 961 SP. This is a Norton naked bike. Can't really, I don't think you could call it a super naked really. What's Luke Cride's final thoughts? This is what the reviewers on YouTube don't talk about. That engine is not powerful. There's very little power and there's very little torque. So anyone that says that it's parallel twin, it's supposed to make a lot of torque, this one doesn't. It's quite a disappointment. Its handling is slow to respond. Can't even tell where the lean angle is. The engine is, you can tell it's an old engine, it's an old design from a long time ago, and you can feel it. The only positive is the gearbox. And this can have the most expensive Olins front and rear, and that does not make it handle any faster, respond any faster. I'm going to say, first review on YouTube that says this is rubbish. I actually said that about Norton Commando. It's no good. It's a fashion statement. It's a look at me. There's no substance behind it at all. I understand the engine's air cooled, but this was, you can feel it. It's like a design from the 90s. So I hope this helps you, and at the end of the day, Luke Rides is talking about this Norton Commando 916 differently to anyone else on YouTube and telling you the truth. God damn it. God damn it. And thanks for watching everybody at Luke Rides. I had to do that voiceover because the GoPro cannot, doesn't have a working microphone because the microphone adapters from GoPro
just seem to fail all the time and don't last, and they're absolute crap. But Norton Commando 961 SP, and this is the SP version, and no matter what the reviews on YouTube tell you, they are lying. This is not the super duper retro naked bike that everyone's so positive about. All the reviewers are telling you is really good, and it's sensual, it's a hark back to the past. Norton have done such a great job. Oh, the suspension's amazing. Oh, this engine's really good. No. Kawasaki, Ducati, BMW, naked bikes outgun it, do better, and are better in every single way, in every aspect, and outgun it in every single field. The Norton Commando 961, and this is the SP version, which is sport, like suspension performance. But you can understand why it is a interesting motorcycle, and you can see why there are people, bikers, motorcyclists, that will buy it, because it is interesting for all of its problems and how BMW, Kawasaki, Ducati can outgun it in every single way. It's different though, that's the thing, it's different, and the engine's different, and it's from an older time, and yeah, it makes really nice noises only because Norton have been able to get away with what they've been able to get away with the exhaust system, so it's a lot more free flowing. It's allowing a lot more exhaust gases to go out and allowing the engine to breathe more, because Norton are not exporting the Commando 961 SP to the world. So there's certain regulations that they don't have to abide by when they made the Norton Commando. So things like they weren't so restricted on what they could do with the exhaust system. And it is interesting, but it has problems and it had flaws, and Luke Rice did not understand why the steering felt so heavy, why it didn't want to bank over like a Kawasaki or a BMW or a Ducati. The steering was slow to respond, didn't want to lean aggressively, there wasn't interest in leaning very much. You can all talk about how it's a Norton frame and how amazing it is. BS. That's not what Luke Rice experienced. What he experienced was a naked bike for what felt like an engine that was an 80s, 90s design, but as using modern materials, and Norton have worked out all the bugs and kinks with that engine, and they gave it a really slick, very fast, smooth gearbox, and gave it a good sounding exhaust system, and that's it. It's just a naked bike. It's a naked bike harking back to the past, and yeah, when you park it up next to, say, a Z900 or a Ducati Monster, you can see the appeal, because Norton are playing on that classic style from the past, from that 80s and 90s styling. And credit to Norton, Norton have paid, I'd say, that pinstriping's used on the body, and that is a skill that's very much dying in the world. But a Kawasaki, a BMW, Ducati would run rings around it. They would run rings around it. And that's the SP version with super expensive Olin suspension, high performance rear shock, high performance front forks from Olin's, and the Brembos as well. Brakes were pretty powerful, but then they were big as the Brembo. But apart from that, would Luke Rice buy it? No, not when you're thinking at that price point you can have a Ducati V4 Super Naked, you could have a Kawasaki ZH2 Super Naked, you could have a lot of different bikes that are better. And if you're looking for that classic look, you're already looking at a Z900RS, you're already looking at the BMW R90, you're already looking at the Ducati Scrambler, I guess, or the Triumph Fuxton. You know, they are better. They are better in every way. So, all you reviewers out there on YouTube, stop bigging up the Norton Commando 961 and just tell the truth. Because clearly you haven't ridden an equivalent Kawasaki or an equivalent Ducati or equivalent BMW. Because if you did, you would be singing a different tune and you would be saying very different things. But you're not, because you're sucking up to Norton. You're appeasing Norton instead of actually telling us motorcyclists and bikers the truth. And the truth is, would Luke Wright buy a Norton Commando 961? No. Would he buy that because of the category it's in? No. I'd much rather prefer a equivalent Kawasaki, the R9T, or the Ducati Scrambler, and they are better in every single way. So that's the review. Really, for all the hype, yeah, disappointed to find the amount of problems. The only positive was the Brembo brakes and the gearbox, and everything else, no. It was really annoying. Hope you enjoyed this review and you have actually learnt the truth about the Commando Norton 961, because only Luke Rides will tell you the truth and be honest and tell you straight, compared to so many other motovloggers out there, and actually tell you the truth. Luke Rides buy it, no goddamn way. Don't care if it's British. Don't use that. Don't say, but it's British. Don't care. Not everything made in Britain is great. Don't use that British built is great attitude to justify the problems that Norton's having. Oh yeah, but Norton will work. No. That's the bike that Norton built. It has problems. It does not work for Luke Rides, and Luke Rides can point out all of its flaws. So for it all being British, it doesn't mean it's great.
You're goddamn right.
That's the point. It doesn't mean it's great. Because how is it, if it's so great, Kawasaki, BMW, Ducati outgun it, run rings around that Norton Commando 961 in their equivalent motorcycles? So don't be using that attitude of just because it's British, you're all gonna hype it up and tell us how great it is, even though it's not. It's problems and really annoying, and it's British. That's not good. Hope this review has really helped you, and thanks for watching.
The little rascal has spirit. Has water.
This is the end of the trail for me.
Thank you.
Thank you, kid.
Drink the coffee. Good coffee. Or tea.